how can you smile? How in the world can you smile? That's what my rheumatologist asked me. He also asked how in the world, because he takes a full history. So he knows that I've been in menopause for a while, and it is true. Generally, you do gain weight with menopause. So I'd been trying to fight that weight gain for a long time. Anyway, that's another story. But he knows that AS really, when it's uncontrolled, untreated, you don't want to exercise. You can't exercise. You just are too tired. You're in too much pain. Exercise is the last thing on your mind. So he was asking, he's an old man. He's really an old man. No offense to him if he ever comes across this and recognizes me. But he didn't understand it. He was like, how in the world did you even motivate yourself to exercise? It's crazy with your disease. It's like, no way. And he was examining me as he asked, and he could feel the heat and the swelling emanating from my spine, my SI joints. It was pulsating in his head. And how he described it was just like everything was tender and hot. And he was saying, how in the world do you keep smiling when your body is broken? It's really broken. And it's a disease that cannot be cured and will get worse. You're headed towards disability. How do you keep smiling? And then when he was asking, okay, what do you do for a job? Are you on leave? And I told him my life and my children. Of course, I explained why we have 6 children, though this being me, I would have had 6 children naturally anyway, because I've always wanted to be in a big family. And so I would have had 6 children, maybe. Okay, maybe not. I would have had 5 biologically, but we do have 6 because we adopted. So I talked about adoption and then the challenges that we've had along the way. And he says, and I know I've said it before, this is not fair. I'm saying this for the sake of anyone new who comes across this. This is not fair. How in the world do you keep smiling when you've got this health problem, which on its own will put them close to the edge? This is me. I would lie there every night and ask God, kill me. All right, I can't take this anymore. Please kill me. I can't. I've lived too many years with this and it's getting worse. Please kill me. So physically already it is a painful disease. The fatigue on its own, just the fatigue from the disease, is overwhelming. And then you've got children. This is him speaking. You've got children like this. Why did God do this to you? Why did God do this to you? And you're still smiling. How can you keep smiling? So he was examining me and he's like, how in the world do you keep fit and how do you not get fat given everything you're going through? So at least, he saw my gray hair and he says, okay, at least there's one sign of stress. You've got gray hair because your attitude is crazy. It was like a move my rocker. Why would I be smiling when things are so bad? You either have to be a doctor who gets your patients, or you have to live it to understand how bad it is. It's indescribable, truly indescribable. And I spent years, as I said to so many times, I spent years being a shoulder for other people to cry on. Always there listening. Well, I still am listening now. Always listening, always caring. And I would cry, but Lord, no one cares about what I'm going through. I didn't know my diagnosis, but I feel like I'm dying. I think it was during the AS flares. And I was still there for people who disappear. This one girl told me maybe 3 years ago, I love you. I love you because you always listen to me. And I thought, okay, you don't love me for my personality. You don't love me. You love me because you can use me. That's how it came across. Truly. Yeah, I love you because I can use you. But I know what she meant. She meant I love you because you care. And she's just disappeared off the face of the earth. I've never said anything to her or about her that's mean or rude or derogatory. I love her. I love everybody, no matter what their lifestyles are like. I love everybody. So when people just disappear who told you they loved you, it's like a stab of pain. It is truly a stab of pain. So I've been that kind of person who listens and hears, but nobody can ever hear or understand what my body goes through. Nobody can understand what my daily life is like unless they know what severe autism with neurological problems and intellectual impairment is like 24/7. So sometimes I want to tell you the good things. Guess what, guys? Today we had a good day. She only cried once. This is my Rio Uriratile, my not very talkative twin. A good day is if she only cried. Like, I had a very good day because she only cried at 5 p.m. and she cried because she wanted something. That for me is a good day. It's not someone brought me treats or I went out and I had coffee with someone. A good day is she was okay. So I've got my angel who last week was bad. There was a day where, sometimes she's so happy. And then the next day it would be like something went wrong. And because she can't express herself, you don't know what has gone wrong. If she wants cereal or banana or something, you can give it to her. Though even then, that can also go wrong. Because she might say banana. You give it to her and then she actually was trying to say peanuts and raisins. But banana is what came out of her mouth, and then she'll push it and cry. And you're thinking, okay, so what were you trying to say then? But when she's having a sensory meltdown, not a tantrum, a meltdown, there's absolutely nothing I can do to make her feel calm. Really, all you can do sometimes is just to let it out. But her letting it out is not safe. So I have to be near her because she will jump and then she's like, imagine I'm standing and then she'll jump backwards in the air. So which way will she go? Down. So I have to catch her as she's going down and stop her. Even for a healthy person, she is heavy. She is heavy. So even for a healthy person, that would strain you. But here I am with my back, which shouldn't be carrying heavy things. And now I'm catching a child who's hurting herself. And I therefore hurt myself as well. And then she went ballistic. She has these moments and she always has. They've been like this. It's been 2.5 years now of this kind of thing. It's just getting worse. And I'm saying this because I posted a blog post and I'll actually talk about that blog post in this, I think, yeah. And someone responded and they were saying, my daughter who's not autistic, not intellectually impaired, her daughter is nothing like my 4-year-old. Her daughter is an adult who is in university. Like, I don't compare any children anyway. But I definitely don't compare children who don't even have the same neurological issues, who are totally like neurodivergent from each other, in fact, who have totally different neurodiversities. I don't compare. But yeah, my daughter, she lost it when there was an accident and this happened. We need to figure out why your daughter is, reacted that way, and then we'll fix it. And I was thinking, you're assuming that this was the first time that this happened. It's been building up. So here's what happened. I wrote a blog post saying this. I have friends I'm going to send this link to. I love you. I have friends and relatives. I love you. That's what I said. I love you very much. There's just one thing. When I ask, how are you? I really mean it. How are you? And how are the children? For me, I'm asking, how is their health? Are they healthy? That's what I'm asking, physically or mentally. So I'll have a friend. Now I'm just I'm paraphrasing what I said in my blog and what I'm referring to. So I'll ask my friend who's got 2 children. She's an adoptive mom. She's white. The children are brown. And if I ask her, how is your child? If she will say to me something like, he had his miserable, the peers, there's this peer pressure thing going on where the peers are mocking him for not having expensive cricket bat, kit. And also he does feel off and sad that he doesn't have a mom who looks like him. That is an answer. It tells me your child is sad. Your child is struggling. Yes, there's a bit of a mention of a cricket bat, which my children will never hold, but the essence is my child is struggling. And then I will feel that with you. But then you will come along and I say, how are you? And you'll tell me, sorry, I'll ask, how are the children? And you'll tell me, oh, they're great. We're off now to do the school run. I didn't ask, what are you about to do? I just asked, how are the children? Or you'll tell me, oh, they're great. So-and-so is going off now to go and do orchestra, or so-and-so is off to play hockey, or so-and-so is going to do whatever. So I said in my post, you can never know what my day is like. So obviously you don't know. But for example, today, my child had a meltdown and she was crying and crying, and there was nothing I could do to calm her down. And every mother knows, no matter what the reason your child has for crying, you want to solve it. It pierces your heart. But there's nothing I could do. She was spitting out words, but they weren't the things she wanted. And then she would say a word, but it's a word that doesn't exist, a word she's never said before. And I didn't know how to help her. And then she started throwing herself back. And so I had to catch her, which then hurt me. This is when I was in the worst of that bronchitis. I should have been in bed resting. Like, truly, I should have been in bed resting. Instead, I'm trying to catch a heavy child so that she doesn't crack her head on hard tile. And then she got angry and she started, because she's angry and upset and just overwhelmed, dysregulated, she started throwing things, and she threw a bottle in which I put I dilute fresh juice with water. I don't ever give them just juice, even if it's natural, fresh, pure. So I had 2 sippy bottles of juice for her and her twin sister, who had gone off for a walk with the other siblings. So it was just me and my not very talkative twin. And she picked it up from the counter and she threw it, and it came onto my lip. And of course, my lip then got hurt by this heavy plastic full of liquid thing, which then also smashed onto my teeth, and it hurt. My daughter hurt me. That was my morning. And I just couldn't help her. She just kept throwing other things. And I'm thinking, you're going to break this. And the word no, obviously, it's not going to help. That was my morning. I've got a daughter who cannot communicate. My son, when he's dysregulated, he can tell me, oh, the sun is too bright. Then we go to a darker place. Oh, I don't like the feeling of this. And then we stop. But my daughter cannot communicate. So I have children who I know will never be able to go to university, will never be able to go to school. And also, I would want them to go to school. I need them to go to school because my body is tired. My body is giving in. But government has not given us proper, good schools for autistic children and or children with other neurodivergent or other neurodiversities. The government hasn't given us that. And so every place that I find is very expensive. And also, look at how sick I am just from a common cold. Look what it did to me. I cannot send my children to school. They will come back with bugs, and those bugs will kill me or bring me closer to the brink of death. And even if I don't die, like now I'm recovering. But every attack that affects my lungs reduces my lung function even more. And so I actually can't send them to school anyway because I will die. Long story short. So I would love to be joining in and saying, my child is also off to school. But firstly, I can't afford this proper kind of school they need. Secondly, I can't even find a school. They all want them to be potty trained. Many of you know there are even many adult autistics who are not potty trained. How much more my 4-year-old? So they want this child to be potty trained, if they exist, and it's super expensive. And for my health, it needs to be close. I can't spend an hour and a half in traffic just one direction. So school is a sore point for me anyway. So when I ask how are you, I'm not asking for a reminder of the difference, and this was my point. I don't want the reminder of the difference between your life and mine. It just widens the gap, and it shows me how alone I am in my reality. All of my friends, 100% of my friends have children who go to typical normal school. They're not even special needs children. They just all go to normal school. I'm the only one who's homeschooling. And this isn't actually even homeschooling my younger ones by choice. I have no choice at this moment. I really have no choice. So when I say, how are you? And you tell me, oh, we're great, we're off to go to school now, or so-and-so is going to do gymnastics. Yikes. My daughter, this is also part of my blog post, we are trying to learn to walk in a straight line on a balance beam, 8 and 9 years old, and they can't. My children cannot walk forwards, carrying nothing, on a balance beam. You're telling me your child is going to gymnastics, your child is going to ballet, your child is going to orchestra. Mine can't even be coordinated enough to walk on a beam, on a line, straight. My 9-year-old is asking me, Mom, why can't we walk straight? So when you're telling me your child is off to orchestra, it's like, okay, it's a reminder. My child will never be able to read notes. They're not in orchestra because we decided we'll do cricket instead of orchestra. They can't do any of those. Their working memory is atrocious, truly atrocious. My child cannot even remember 2 plus 2. My children can't remember their birthdays. So, as my point was, when I ask you, how are you? Please answer me and just tell me, we are fine. Or, like my other friend does, Andy boy is sick, he's coughing again. Abigail, that's their nicknames, she's fine, her tummy hasn't bothered her. I've got the flu. That is an answer to how are you? Or as I said before, tell me the mental struggles, I don't mind. And I reminded them that it's not like I want to pretend your lives are not normal. Normal. I hate that word, but you know what I mean. Because I do ask them, and I do tell, and I said this in my post, and they know it. When I'm feeling stronger or strong, I do ask, what did you guys do this weekend? And then they freely tell me, we went to so-and-so's hockey match, we went to the ice skating rink, they tell me. And at that moment, because I have asked, what did you do? I can bear it. Or I ask, what are you planning for Sarah's birthday? Then you can tell me we're throwing a party. But when I ask, how are you? And then you say, oh, I'm still mulling over the birthday list for my son's birthday. And I'm thinking, my daughter cannot handle people. So she will never have a party, even if I was a party person. We can't throw parties because it would cause her so much anguish. It again is a reminder of what is so different between me and you. And as I said before, it's a reminder of how alone I am. I don't have anyone in my shoes. I don't have anyone I can say, okay, Kate, how are you doing? How many tantrums or meltdowns have you dealt with? What has so said? How is your struggle? How's the math struggles going? And I don't have anyone who asks, okay, how has your morning been? Was homeschooling smooth today? Were there any extra challenges that popped up? I don't have that. And the fact that I don't have that shows that their reality is too normal for that to ever even pop up as a question. And that is fine. I'm glad no one else is in my shoes. I'm glad no one else has AS and interstitial lung disease, fibrosis, and 4 special needs children. But at the same time, I don't want to feel isolated. I want to feel like I'm part of a community. And when I ask, how are you? You answer me that way. Then I just feel like I'm not part of the community. At that moment, I just want to relate as a mother. I want us to relate to each other as a mother. And mothers, all our children can have the flu or bronchitis. All our children can stub their toe, can have a leg infection, So when I ask, how are you? Telling me so-and-so has bronchitis or so-and-so is better from their pneumonia, that's okay. Because unfortunately, all my children can also get pneumonia, and my children have had bronchitis. We are then all the same. Health challenges are all the same. And I also am aware of the one whose children have heart issues, and I will check on those heart issues also, because she's different to me, and I will remind her that I know and I care about that part of her life. How do I smile? It happened again today. Long tantrum. I didn't know how to solve it. My children were here this time. They didn't know how to solve it. And it was bad. And so, yes, I sent the link to my people. They got it. One apologized. One said they get it completely, 100%. Other one apologized, that she never thought of how it lands. She never thought it. And so we're all happy. I posted it on my social media, Facebook. I sometimes go in and out of Facebook. I deactivate when I'm not needing a group. And so I posted a link on Facebook. And someone tells me, I know how you feel. No, she doesn't. She doesn't have 6 children. She doesn't even have 5 or 4 or 3. She doesn't have even 3 children. I've got 6. Already she doesn't know how I feel. She's not homeschooling. She doesn't know how I feel. She's never dealt with this kind of meltdown for 2 years and counting. And at the end of my post, I said that at the end of the day, what makes this worse, these meltdowns and all, and the fact that my daughter hurt me, is that she's going to get bigger and stronger. And I don't know what that means for my future. Her children are already bigger and stronger, and they've never had any of the kinds of issues my daughter has. Both her children can speak. Both her children can communicate. They can type essays. My child can't even say, Mommy, my tummy is sore. She can't even show me her tummy is sore. You cannot ever know how it feels to be me. As I said in my post, it is a blessing that your children can just communicate. Communicating on its own is a huge bonus. It's a blessing, a privilege. Being able to be coordinated enough and able to learn and memorize dance steps, that is beyond imagination for me and the life I'm in at the moment. And so for this woman to tell me she knows how I feel, I started writing a response, and then I thought, what's the point? What's the point? If she missed everything I had said in my blog post to focus on how, so she said she knows how I feel. She too would have a worry because her child is not able-bodied. They're in a wheelchair, the one who's in university. And so, she knows, she felt that when her child couldn't perambulate. And her child, she also lost it when there was an accident when one of the family members had an accident. And so we need to just figure out why my daughter that day hurt me. And I thought, just because I'm sharing this post today doesn't mean it's the first time that this meltdown happens. It just happens to be the first time I'm mentioning it. Wow. It is hard to smile when people insert themselves into a situation they did not part of, that they will never understand, that they will never live and or have not yet lived. How do I smile? Or why do I smile? Because I don't focus, but when there are wonderful moments, I cling to them and remember them. For example, today, my daughter had a meltdown. We couldn't figure out what set it off. I checked her clothing to make sure it's comfortable, her shoes, it's clothing she wears normally. It's not like there was anything new. I didn't know what to do, what had set it off. I offered her ice lolly because she likes that. It didn't help. There was nothing. I offered to rock her in the rocking chair. That didn't help. She was not interested. It was too deep. The meltdown was just too deep by the time she came to my room. And so all I could do was just hug her and say, I'm sorry you're sad. I'm sorry you're sad. You're sad. And eventually, she did calm down a bit. They gave her some cereal. She ate happily. And as I was holding her before she calmed down, I just told myself, all right. And this is why I'm putting the disclaimer that this only works if you're in my shoes. Because some people have children who will scream and cry all day. 13 years old, unable to speak, just sitting there on their knees, rocking and screaming and crying and smashing themselves in the head. Even with my life, where my child is hurting herself, for that 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 50 minutes, even I could never ever tell a mother of a child like that I know how you feel. I don't. It's because as I held my child, as she just screamed and cried, I could tell myself, okay, just 30 more minutes maybe 29 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and then this episode will be over. So let me just sit with her in her pain. Let me hold her so she doesn't hurt herself. Let me make sure there's nothing that will hurt me. And let me just hold her. It will pass. It will end. And then I said to her, all right, do you want an ice lolly now that it had ended? She didn't really want it, but then when I opened the freezer, she saw our ice tray and she put it out. She said, oh, do you want some ice cubes? So I took out some ice blocks and put them in a bowl for her. And then I was just going about my day, and I know ice really calms them down. And then she spoke. Ice cubes.
Ice cube.
Yes.
Ice cube.
Oh, yes.
Ice cube.
Ice cubes. You're happier now. Baby's happy. Ice cubes. Uh-oh. Oh, great. Are you just going to make the floor wet? What are you doing? It's sliding on your hand. It's melting.
Five.
How many ice cubes?
Cubes.
Yes, cubes.
Cubes.
Oh, yes.
1, 2, 5.
You're counting. Well done. You remembered my question. How many? Oh, no. Yes, iceberg. Just like your nature lesson. Does she have I'm hoping that my reaction showed up. I'm hoping my reaction showed up in the video. Wow, people, iceberg. Just like months ago, where I did a nature lesson for them on video, and I was talking about icebergs, and I'd shown using a cup first of a glass, because I don't have an iceberg in the house. There was a glass of water, a picture of a glass of water with an ice cube in it, and some of the ice cube was, below the water. So it was just to illustrate to the children what an iceberg is like for them, so they could get a little idea. And of course, there were pictures of real icebergs. And so when my daughter said iceberg, my heart just, she listens. She listens. And I know she listens. I've said she listens. I've said that's why I record it. But she's always running up and down, up and down. She does not sit. She cannot sit. So to know that she remembered a word and is using it in the right context, given what I had used to teach, it made my day. It was one of my magical moments. Those are the things I cling to. Or also same thing. Or same time today, I asked my eldest, my son, to pour warm water, because it's autumn now here, warm water into a big container that I've got for them. And I said, okay, we're going to do shaving foam. It's a nice sensory tool. They enjoy it. And I know water. All my children enjoy water. All children enjoy water anyway. But autistics, it is one of those things we use to calm them down. So we had a big-ish container of water, and my children were playing. You're going up onto the rock.
Onto the rock, and I'm going to fall down.
Oops, I hope you won't fall down. So what are you doing?
So I'm rinsing the tree.
You're rinsing the
tree.
Why are you rinsing the tree?
So wet. It was dirty.
Because it's dirty. I see.
Rinser. On the leaves. It's on the leaves.
It's on the leaves. And for me, it was a magical moment when they showed they enjoyed it. What I aimed to do, what I set out to do with the water, that aim was reached, that goal was reached. And earlier on, when my daughter took the water to go and clean the tree, I said to her, all right, must we go put it in I don't even know what I used. And she said, no, it's a container. It's just those little moments where I thought, wow, she knows the correct word for the container that had the water in it, and she used it. It's those little magical moments when my 4-year-olds, both of them, they make me feel happy. And so my little girl who had been throwing a tantrum and was not interested at first in water and shaving foam, she also came along and she enjoyed herself. And we had peace. And so how do I smile and why do I smile? I smile because it's not that bad. Okay, it could be worse. It could definitely be better. But I have the magical moments that are interspersed with the trauma and the drama and the things that do cause anxiety and depression and insomnia for mothers of children who are neurodivergent. It is true. It is true. It is a huge mental burden. And then when you've got ill health like mine, it's too much. It is truly too much to bear. But I smile anyway because I feel okay. Things will be okay. If not now, before I die, they will be okay. After I die, I'll be resting. And then I'll wake up and I'll have a new body. And my children will have new minds. Their brains will work. They will stop misfiring. Life won't hurt them. My body won't hurt me. And I'll be able to breathe in and I'll be able to run, and I'll be able to walk up a mountain again. Again, I'll be able to walk up a hill, and I'll be able to breathe and talk and maybe even sing and dance while I'm doing so. I smile because it's not only about today, it's not only about now. My life has purpose, has meaning, and God knows the thoughts that He has for me and the plans He has for me, and I know them too. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh I shall see God. And that's why I smile.